Me.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt like you're up against the world? Like you wanted something so bad and then it actually happened, but in reality it's just not as great as you imagined it.
Yes, actually. America was my mountain. Your father and I dreamed so much of coming here. And when we finally came, it was so hard. He worked very long hours for very little money. Amir was barely out of diapers. My English was not so good. I tell you, I've never felt so alone in my whole life.
What did you do?
I found the mosque. I found Auntie Ruby and Humaira. And I found my family. And I let them love me. Kamala, listen to me. Whatever mountain you're facing, you don't have to do it alone.
Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And welcome to this very beautiful wedding. On today's episode, we're going to talk about episode 3 of Miss Marvel. And then if we have time, touch on the boys. And before we leave, I'm going to give my guests a little assignment ahead of next week's episode.
Goodness, okay.
And joining me for all of this, she's finally returned home after 100 years in another dimension. It's Faridah!
Hi, everyone, again. I'm back to the cold, terrible streets of London. Excited to talk
That's
about Miss
rude.
Marvel.
It was very sunny the other week and I didn't like it at all, so...
Excuse me, Mr. I'm from Nigeria.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's why I ran away from Nigeria because I don't like the heat.
Wow.
Ran away here and then the heat followed. And the heat here is worse. Look, don't let me get into this thing. Like I've done this on the podcast before. I hate the summer here. I hate summer in general. I hate the sun. It's like, look.
No.
Yeah.
Super fragilistic no. The sun here.
Summer just has great PR. It just has great PR. And people need to like start speaking their truth. Like, anyways, don't get me started, please. Anyways, guys.
You love your long coats and boots. That's what you give. That's why you like winter.
What does that mean? I feel like you're stereotyping me and I do not like that very much.
I'll stop. I'll let your mind play with it.
Okay. Just choosing violence and start of this episode. Guys, welcome back. If you're following Miss Marvel and enjoying it, welcome back to this episode. If you're new to this episode, hello. Please, to everyone, new and old, please, if you haven't, please rate and review us on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And follow us on whatever platform you're listening on all the platforms. If you have any friends that watch TV shows or the movies that we talk about, please tell them about the podcast. Just speak about this podcast favorably. We're just trying to let people know. And yeah, and like I said, we have a bit to talk about this episode, so we're just going to go straight into it. And I'm going to talk about Miss Marvel with Faridah.
Yes.
Episode 3, titled Destined, written by Freddie Cyborn, A.C. Bradley and Matthew Chauncey, and directed by Mira Minon. So you got what you wanted, or at least all the things you wanted in this episode. You got another big middle finger to the British, which I'm sure
I loved it
excited
so
you.
much.
And also a very quick face-to-heel turn for Cameron's mom. So, like, what do you think of this episode, since it checked off your list?
So, I really, really love this episode. Like, as a Muslim, the fact that she's fighting jinn, crazy. It's actually insane. When the can't remember her name now, Bad Mommy was like, "Oh, we're the jinn." I said, "What do you mean you're the jinn? That's crazy. You don't even like." All Muslims who are hearing me now will understand how crazy it is. You know when she said that, wow, that's like I'm fighting my childhood nightmares. Wow, that's actually mind-blowing. I also knew they were bad because they were laughing too much, and the way the mommy did her makeup, I don't think she's a bad woman. No, it's like it was beautiful. She's gorgeous, but like it was like dark evil, you know?
Yeah.
I found it so funny that the black woman there had a British accent. I loved the wedding. I really, really, really loved the wedding. I loved how they really like put their culture in it, obviously, because it's Pakistani wedding.
Mhm.
However, it was like very obvious to me that they just picked Aisha off the streets because there was not many of our people there at all. We saw our mom and dad. Good that they casted those extras, but like
There were some black people though. We saw her brother,
some sprinkles.
and we saw some other black people.
I mean,
But I get what you mean.
what else? I like the mention of Dr. Eric Selvig. I don't know if you caught that. I feel like you would have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did. Of course you did. The guy who was from 4. I knew that he must have been someone, so I Googled him and I was like, oh my gosh,
okay.
I love some intertwining. And then at the start, those supernatural evil people, they were giving like Eternals to me, you know, that like family bond and being there for forever. But I like how they're bad. I don't understand their powers. I don't know if they're just really strong people or just really good fighters.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they have powers. Maybe they can, good fighters and can control objects. I don't think they have like powers.
That's dead. Also, I really liked Noor. Like, obviously, as a Muslim, I know what Noor means, but when they mentioned it, I was like, oh my gosh, light! And then, it's just so important and it's just so powerful. I think Miss Marvel is just so powerful, so important, so impactful, so beautiful. I like how Kamala is like such a classic heroine, like archetype, in the sense that she's just a good person who wants to do good, and she's like a bit silly, and she's just like a, you know, like they usually give this to boys. So I'm actually really happy that she just gets to be like, not slightly dumb. I wouldn't call her dumb, but like just doing her best.
I mean, she's a teenager. She's dumb in the way teenagers are dumb, I guess. She hasn't really been that dumb. Like, she's optimistic, she's hopeful. Kind of like another neighborhood teenager.
I thought you were going to say Spider-Man.
A bridge, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Just a bridge away. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, before I don't want to finish all the notes you have. We'll talk about Jane in a bit because we'll talk about Jane in a bit. I'll get to that. But just like, I don't know, I think the things I said I quote unquote wanted. I mean, Nakia found out, which was nice. And she continues to be great, which again, like I said, would make her heel turn in episode 5 very depressing to me. But let's not talk about that. What did you think when your Department of Damage Control agent walked into the mosque with her shoes?
When I was like, you tell her. I was just that stupid woman. What's her name? Danica? Is it Danica? Dana?
Diva, I think.
Diva?
Dina?
Stupid woman. I was so happy that they finished her. Also, really dumb of her to not have gotten a search warrant, because I think it must have been really easy to get a search warrant.
Yeah, but she probably thought that, like, she could just do it.
That they were stupid and she's smart.
White privilege. Stupid. Yeah, like she could just do it without it.
If I catch her outside.
I mean, okay,
there was no Arian Moya head.
This episode. Yeah, I was going to ask you how you felt about that.
I was so sad. sad. You know, he's so charming. I just like, he's a scene stealer, but yeah. Okay,
let's talk about the episode and some things. I mean, like you mentioned the beginning of the episode, which starts very clearly with British occupied India. With that whole scene, I mean, there are a few Easter eggs, hints there. I don't know how you would call them. I mean, once I see a blue arm or a blue person, your mind goes to Kree, and knowing Kamala's origins in the comics as an Inhuman, I'm interested to see how they intertwine all that, because that arm is not blue for no reason. Actually, I can talk about this now because it's interesting, because it goes to the thing about the Jane and the No and all those things. Like, I've mentioned this on previous episodes, but not knowing anything about Miss Marvel in the comics or her history is very interesting, because, like, I'm watching this probably the way lots of people watch phases 1, 2, 3. Like, I know nothing. I can't even, like, theorize. Like, a word that is meant to mean something to the comics people means nothing to me. Like, when they call themselves the
clandestine.
The clandestine, yeah, right. Obviously, that means something to people in the comics. I'm just like, that's
nice.
To me, I was like, that's a clear hint. I was like, come on, you can't trust these people. First of all, they were exiled from their dimension, and then they're the clandestine. That's not a good one. But anyway, she's young. She's stupid. Like, things like that don't mean anything to me. So it's very interesting watching. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, obviously, after this, I'll probably go on a deep dive ahead of the Marvels movie. But, like, it's just watching, just knowing how origin story, just how the MCU wants to teach me is very interesting, because I don't know all these hints. I don't know all these clues. But obviously, some clues I can pick up are like blue arm, Kree, and then I don't know if you caught this, but the 10 rings on the floor.
No.
So at the beginning, when they're picking up the bangle, there's a drawing, I don't know, incision of the 10 rings, like the logo from Shang-Chi there. So I was thinking about that. I was like, okay, maybe that explains why, obviously, in the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi, Brie Larson's Captain Marvel is there, talking about, like, this is so old and everything. So that could be a way that those things connect. But, like, there has to be a connection there. But let's quickly talk about the Jinn. So I've seen varying opinions, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, people are like, it's a bit iffy, I guess, to use, like, the Jinn here as... Because I'm assuming she's not going to be, like, a Jinn in the end, or even part Jinn or whatever. Maybe her mom was trying to fight them. Or I'm assuming she's going to be clearly a good person when this is all said and done after episode 6. But what do you think about using this as part of our origin story? Obviously kind of replacing or maybe adding to the Inhumans thing from the comics.
So the thing about Jinn that I should say is that they're not good or bad. Like, they're just existing like how humans are existing in Islamic folklore.
Oh, okay.
So Aisha was obviously a Jinn because they were from the same place going home, etc. So I guess that is interesting to know if Aisha was also evil, is evil. Did she die? Surely she must have died. Or did she go on?
I think she's still alive. I'm pretty sure. I'm not pretty sure, but I feel like she'll still be alive.
Me too. So,
because in the dual age, I think we'll still see her.
I also can understand people's hesitation or criticism of using Jinn as well, because it's quite a religion-based concept, even though it's also pre-Islamic, but it's also, there is like Islamic, no stories. What's the word I'm looking for here that would suit? Part of the religion speaks about Jinn, so I can understand people being rather sensitive towards it and how they deal with it. But I understand the writer's room sitting down and saying, how do we make this story as culturally authentic?
Reclaiming it, essentially. Yeah.
I think it's cool, but I'm not I do never want to speak for every Muslim ever in the world. I'm only speaking for myself.
Well, why do you think you're on this podcast? You're here to speak for every Muslim. Like, that is your job. No, I understand what you mean. And I think I can see the appeal from the writer's room. Like you said, they're like, okay, look, these stories in Marvel Comics have been written by white men, illustrated by white men. Like, so, like, how do we reclaim this story in a way that is representative of our community and tells the truth like they've done before? Like, the good. I didn't know the Jinn were good and bad. I thought they were all always just seen as bad in mythology. So that could be an interesting way to... Maybe she's only seen or heard of the Jinn as the boogeyman, and she gets to hear of their multitudes and their different sides. And maybe Aisha was one who was against them, and maybe she tried to fight them, and then they tried to kill her or whatever. I don't know. But I think, like all things, it's just we always have to give them the rope and just see how they land it. Like, what happens in episode 6? Do they mess it up? I think they will be respectful. It's just, would they be good or accurate? I don't know.
I do trust the writers, though. I do. And they can't please everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, from the premise of doing the show in the first place, there's going to be some grey, some complications, some things that people won't always be happy about.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to add that the Imam being seen as like a good spiritual leader, but also a good person, was really actually important to me, because I haven't seen that often. Maybe because I'm not just like reading and watching as much as I should, but like I usually see pastors being portrayed as, you know, very zen, very like wisdom, very Yoda-ish.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna shout out Rami again, which I guess goes to your point about the death of like Muslim stories, because this is the show I keep going back to. But Mahershala Ali plays an imam in the second season.
Really?
And he's he's very good. He's very good in the role. The mom is very good. It's like, so again, another reason for you to go watch Rami.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Rami. Somebody else told me to watch Rami as well. So
But hopefully we're not just stereotyping like, oh, you're Muslim, go watch Rami.
I hope not.
Yeah, hopefully, I don't know. No, I mean, I like that they're showing the entire community as a community and as different sides. And I didn't even know that the line, good is not what you are, is what you do. I didn't know that was from the comics. I think that's kind of like her, sorry to compare her to a white boy again, but that's her, like, with great power must always come great responsibility line. I didn't know that it was so essential to her character development. So that was nice to see. And I liked the delivery. I like the performance from that actor.
So how does she convince everyone that she's good?
Good is not a thing you are, Kamala. It is a thing you do.
And what a beautiful thing to say as well. I was snapping my fingers. It was very, like, nice to hear.
I was thinking about that line, and
You're going to ruin my dreams.
No. I was just thinking from the point of the writer's room. I think it's one of those things where it's 5 seconds, it's 2 lines, but it might have taken them like 4 days to like agree on using that line. Because it's the type of thing where I think you just have to like make sure, because it's so pivotal and it's going to mean so much to put the character and the audience. You have to make sure like it checks out, like everybody agrees with it. Like no one is rolling their eyes at it. Like it makes sense from all angles. Like it makes sense when you're awake. It makes sense when you're drunk. It's just like, it's one of those things that like, it's almost negligible, but also just carries so much weight. And I was like, these guys must have thought about this for so long. Speaking of conversations, this episode has 2 very big conversations. One between Muniba and Kamala and one between Yusuf and Amir. Which one of them did you cry for?
A man has one fundamental choice in life: to live a life in fear or love. The man who chooses love chooses junoon, passion. He chooses faith, courage. You wear a shalwar kameez every day on the street. You are about to stand in front of God and your family and commit to the love of your life. You are brave, my son, because you have chosen family. MashaAllah. And the man who chooses family is never alone.
So the Amir one, I was making fun of him. I can't lie. I said, you want to marry with $700 in your account. You're not a serious person.
Wow, he's in love though.
Yeah, okay. And I said, so Islamically, it said that when you marry someone, it's completing half of your deen. And I'm not sure if you know what deen means.
No, just treat me like a 5-year-old. Just explain to me like I'm 5.
So deen is like religion, I suppose.
Okay.
In general. So like getting married is really important in Islam. There's like there's a Quranic verse that I'm forgetting right now, but it's basically about 2 halves becoming whole. I'll tell you later, but it's really nice. So like I understood him just wanting to get married. I really love that thing about choosing family, choosing love. I just said this boy is very unserious, Sha. So I hope Taisha knows there's only 700.
Yeah, no, but it's not as if he's like a bum. He's in school.
Yeah, he's in graduate school, which is really good.
Yeah, it's not as if he's just homeless and jobless. Like he's
so
in
would
school.
So is Taisha going to live with his mommy and dad?
So I was thinking about that. I have to believe that Taisha has money.
Me too. Well, I had to just think.
Because
she has
to have like maybe got an apartment for them and she's paying rent while he's still in grad school and everything. And maybe her parents are helping, his parents are helping. Because I doubt they would leave.
That's my worst nightmare.
Or living, you're married.
My mother-in-law, my father-in-law. God forbid. Scary.
Yeah, no, God forbid. Indeed. I can't believe I've gone 3 episodes without even praising Amir's beard, because that thing is a work of art.
Is that what you want? A beard like that?
I don't know if it seems like a lot of stress to maintain.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like, I could do it for like a short while. I don't know. I don't even know if I can grow that kind of beard. That's a lot. That's like, I think like my hair would stop at a point. I'll try it one of these days. Anyway.
Ooh, wait, as a man, what did you think of it?
What, the conversation?
Yeah.
As a man, like you said,
Oh no! Why did I ask for your opinion as a man? Oh god!
as a man, I feel like he's a beta. Like, oh my god, no, I'm joking. It's in that conversation that his dad says you choose family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you choose love, and it's also very similar to the conversation Muniba and Kamala have. I think, like you, I'm someone who's like, why are you going to get married with $700 in your account? Like, I just personally something I just feel like it's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
But I was very sympathetic to the stress he was going through and the ordeal he must have been going through, and especially if, like you said, marriage is important in every religion, but it seems like it's very, very important in Islam. And then he's obviously someone that's quite religious. And just the fact about his dad saying, like, you choose family and you choose love, and essentially when you do that, things will fall into place. And I don't know, man, it was heartwarming. It was really heartwarming. It was just like,
it was so lovely.
It was nice to see, like, a father. It was nice to see a non-white father reaffirm his non-white son in that kind of situation. It's not something that you see often.
Yes.
So it was just nice to see that. And it wasn't like he was feeling, oh, I'm having cold feet or whatever. Like, I like that he never doubted his commitment to Taisha.
Yeah.
What he was doubting was, like, whether it was smart to do it, or whether he was in the right place to do it, or how he could do it. Not like, oh, is she the right person, or I could go back on the streets and, like, chill and everything. Well, like, so it's like, I just like that was a different problem, quote unquote, that he was having, and then his dad was there to help him, and I like that.
They'll be okay. They'll be okay. They seem like a strong, fictional Muslim couple. Not jealous at all.
Wow. As a woman, what did you think of the Muniba and Kamala conversation?
Well, as a woman, as I speak for every woman in the world.
Every Muslim woman, remember.
Oh, yes.
You have a lot to talk about right now. Yeah.
I liked the story of the immigrant's journey and how it is lonely. I think it's really important to have those conversations and let people know that it was not a smooth route for anyone. But community in the mosque, community from friends just like you who can help you, and leaning into your family the mission is to do well for them, right? It's beautiful. And to tell your, like, little daughter that, to let her know that there's always family for her, it really, like, struck a chord with me. It was really nice to see. And as you said, the whole, like, non-white people doing it as well was lovely.
Yeah, I just continue to be impressed by Zenobia Shroff, who's the actress that plays Muniba. Her performance in this, it just continues to feel so lived in and so motherly. And, like, while Yusuf, I think his actor's name is Mohan Kapoor, while his performance is also quite good, and he's almost like, I don't think we've seen, or maybe I can't remember seeing, like, this version of the embarrassing dad that is in white. Which I think is also why his conversation with Amira in this episode feels a bit, like, different and carries a different weight, because it's the first time that we're really seeing him, like, go all fatherly. But I continue to like her performance as Muniba. She's just, like, just so warm, and I believe everything she's saying. I just believe that that's the experience she's lived. And the way she chooses to say particular words, her line deliveries of certain phrases is just, it's just very motherly, and you can't watch that and not see your mother or your aunt or your grandmother or whatever. So that's just, Anyway, should we talk about the wedding?
Can we talk about female friendships first?
Yeah, of course. Always.
Not always. Come on. The fact that her friend flew all the way from Pakistan and did the flights for her was just so nice. And, Nakia coming to tell... why am I forgetting her name? She's so important. Kamala. And she won. And stuff was just, like... It was so beautiful. I think that friendships are such beautiful, like, powerful things. And female friendships are really, like... The way... they interact, intersect, go together. It's just so beautiful. I love it. I love seeing women on my screen. That's all. Talk about the wedding now.
No. I love every interaction those two have.
Yeah.
Kamala and Nakia. And again, look, these guys are actors. It's acting. Acting is an art form. But like, again, it just always, I mean, I think this is Iman's first professional acting performance, if I'm not mistaken.
So she went from sitting down to Marvel.
I'm pretty sure.
Let me
Yeah.
ask Google.
You can ask Google. Tell me what Google says.
It's like, you're correct. You're correct. No, now she did one show in 2020.
Yeah,
it's a short film. Okay, don't worry.
Yeah, and is it the one that she directed herself? No, what? Don't laugh at that. I'm just be like,
no, you caught me. I'm not laughing at. No, I'm laughing because
all this is making it into the podcast, by the way.
No, stop. Short films are great. I love a short film.
I mean, look, I'm working on a couple right now, so short films have to be great.
Yes.
No, but like, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, like, so it feels like a friendship. I think, what does she call her in this episode? When Nakia falls on her bed, she calls her something. Squishy. And I think it's the first time she said it on the show. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't feel like the first time she's ever said it. Like, it feels like it's the name they call each other every time. And it's just their interactions, their banter about, are you worried about the dance? You're never going to be as good as me. Or like the intonations Iman chooses to use when she's talking to her. It just feels like a best friendship. It feels like something that, like, even, like, I mentioned it before, but just even the way Nakia relates to Bruno, it just feels like these three have lived a life together.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the wedding, which, if anything was going to make my heart like grow 3 times more, it's probably going to be this Miss Marvel show.
Really?
Because every episode, it just throws you a sequence. You're like, oh wow, I believe in life and love and humanity and things being cute. And that entire dance sequence is great. I continue to love Bruno being the white boy that everybody just loves. And comes in with his white boy dancing. It's just great.
I'm really sorry to cut you short.
No.
I'm really excited about like his larger role in the MCU. I'm really excited. I don't know where we're going. I don't know what's the next like big movie is going to be. I know that really good looking guy is going to be our Big Bang who was in Loki. You know him, of course you do. Kang.
Jonathan Majors. Kang.
Yes. I know that's the next Big Bang.
That really good looking guy.
What's more funny is that you knew who I was talking about.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm interested to see how people like Bruno are going to fit into the larger, because he's so small, right? And like he has a great future ahead of him. Maybe he'll play with Shuri in the coming days. Maybe he'll play with yeah, I'm thinking big for him.
Yeah, you're going really big. I was just thinking, again, not to bring Peter Parker back into this, but I was just thinking like he could be her guy in the chair. He could be her Ned, which is like...
Yeah, he is her Ned.
More than good enough. Yeah, like, I mean, maybe he interacts with Shuri. Who knows?
Exactly. Don't hate on him.
I'm not hating. I want everything good for our little white boy. Yeah. Was Gabe wearing the Little Hawk outfit in that dance?
Who's Gabe?
I think it was. Gabe is Taisha's younger brother.
How do you know that? He never said that.
They said his name was Gabe.
I'm sure. Where did they say his name was Gabe?
You need to start trusting me more. Faridah, I trust you. Said I should trust. I trust you. You need to start trusting me more as well.
It's just that they never said hello, Gabe, to him. Did they say that?
I'm pretty sure they did. Yes.
Okay, I'll trust you.
Well, here's the thing. I watched this episode twice, right?
Ooh.
And the second time I watched them, I usually watch them with subtitles. So maybe it wasn't audible.
I know what you're talking about. Was it that time when she was like, he started dancing and Taisha said, I bet she just said, oh, hey. But
yeah, so
I wear glasses,
so
maybe I need things for my ears as well.
Anyway, obviously this episode ends with a cliffhanger-y thing where we find out that her grandma saw the same vision that she saw, which is of the train.
Yes, Karachi.
To Karachi. So I guess they're going to Pakistan next week. I don't know how she's going to convince her parents to go to Pakistan, but I guess that's happening. Damage Control have arrested all the clandestine, including Cameron. So,
what do you think of Cameron? Because he's not long-term potential. I think what's going to happen is that he's going to be good. He's going to be her first kiss, or that rubbish, and then he's going to be like, "I'm going back to London," and that's her heartbreak. And then Bruno comes in season 2.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be, like I said, I don't think he's a long-term thing, but I don't know. I was surprised that he went full on against his parent, his mom.
I'm surprised that it was almost like they were going to kill him. I was like,
Yeah, they were like, look, fair enough. I mean, like, it makes sense. They're like, look, I've known you for 17 years. That's nothing in the entire landscape of my life.
Shout out to Invincible.
True. Shout out to Invincible. Yeah, so I was surprised that so I guess maybe they're really placing him as like a full-on hero. I didn't think that was going to be the case, but that's...
Me too. I thought it was going to be a snake. Maybe I should trust London Boys.
Trust London Boys more? Maybe you should. I think the show is in a point where I don't want to think too hard about anything I might consider a quote-unquote flaw, because I'm just enjoying everything else so much. If it was a lesser quality show, I might think more about plot holes, quote-unquote, or things that don't necessarily work, because everything else around it is letting it down. But in this case, like, everything else around it is so good that I can't disregard those flaws if they were even there, right?
Yeah, but I think you can like something and also criticize it.
Yeah, no, there are probably criticisms to be had, but I don't necessarily want to do them.
Okay, if you don't want to do them,
you can do
I'll
them.
Make you do them. No, do I have any not yet, really. No, I've watched worse stuff.
That should just be like the tagline of this podcast. I've watched worse stuff. I don't know. In a different show, maybe you could focus on the face to heel turn from the clandestine was quick, or how does Cameron not know about their plans, or how did they not have that one-on-one conversation? But like, everything else is just so good that like those kind of things you can't disregard.
It's true.
There are no points where I'm like, oh, that dialogue doesn't make sense, or that's weird, or that's too cheesy, because it's always cheesy in the right way, which I just like.
Mm-hmm. And also, we always have to remember that you and I are not really the target audience.
Target audience?
Yes, for the teens.
Are you saying we're too old?
Well, I am a beautifully young spring chicken, but you...
Jesus, okay.
Mr. Young Millennial. I don't know if they were thinking of you when they wrote the show. Sorry.
I don't know when millennial became a slur, but fine. Jesus.
It's not a slur. You're the youngest of your lot, aren't you?
Do you have of your lot? Do you have any thoughts going into the Pakistan episode before we move on to Vought?
Do I have any thoughts? I can't wait to see Pakistan. I googled, and Iman Vellani is also from Karachi. So homegirl's going back to her hometown. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to meet her grandma. She does not remind me of my grandma, actually. No, not in the slightest. She doesn't remind me of either my grandmas. But she seems like a cool woman, you know. I like how she's a bit eccentric. I'm going to have fun with her. I also want to say it's going to be really funny when her mom finds out that she's fighting Jane, because that's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's equivalent of you saying that you're fighting, like anyone telling their family that they're fighting, like, I don't know, spirits or Lucifer or Satan. Not to that extent, but like, yeah, that's going to ruffle some feathers. They're going to strap her in the mosque. They're going to just keep her in the confines of the mosque.
Yeah, I think Amre's reaction to that would be very interesting. He seems like the most religious out of all of them.
He's going to bring the Quran out. I'm excited. What about you? Do you have any expectations?
No. My expectations last week were what? That Nakia finds out, or my hope was that Nakia finds out and that the family finds out. Nakia did, family almost did, family will very soon. It's weird. We can't, even like just now, we can't give any theories or expectations based on like Miss Marvel comic lore, because we don't really know much. So it's just like, yeah, I'm trying to see how did her grandma how did her grandma see the vision as well? What's going on there? I'm pretty sure, I assume we'll see Aisha, if not by next week, maybe by episode 5.
Aisha.
I'll be very surprised if she's actually dead. That'll be very surprising.
I have a tip if anyone's interested. Not a tip, but a tidbit about my life. So I was in Morocco, if anyone forgot. And when you pass through the streets of Morocco as a fine young woman, the way they can't call you is that they'll call you Aisha, especially at night time. So me and my friends were just saying Aisha, 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 Aisha.
Why? Why the cat call with their name?
I don't know. I wanted to. I know what Aisha means, but I've forgotten. What does Aisha mean? It means life. So I don't know. I think Aisha is just like you just look back because you're like, oh.
Why? That's
Yeah.
I'm going to spend a lot of time thinking about that. Why Aisha? That's just like.
I know.
Anyways, okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to see what Homeland has been up to.
Homelander.
Oh Jesus!
I actually
Okay.
have Homelander criticism this time. Actually.
Okay, you found it. Anyways, okay, right back. And we're back. Okay, so quick disclaimer. By the time you listen to this, the 6th episode of The Boys season 3 will be out. So bear that in mind because it's not out by the time we're recording. And I'm also kind of glad that it's not out yet because we get to chat about the show before the show to be ridiculous and over the top and hilarious and
Herogasm.
Herogasm episode drops. What do you think about The Boys so far, season 3?
Okay, I have many things. So, and I need to write this somewhere, and I need somebody to commission me to write this somewhere. The Boys has this amazing ability to be so fairly entertaining and 18 plus and goric and graphic and absolutely terrible, while passing on a very message of hope, goodness, fairness, criticizing large government, criticizing profits, capitalism, all these things, while being so entertaining and not feeling like they're nagging you. And I think they do that so intelligently. I want to be in Seth Rogen's brain cell when he's sitting down with his writers and they're writing about this fantastic show. Season 3, and what they're doing with Huey's storyline and toxic masculinity and how would I phrase this? How anyone can be flawed and how anyone can be converted in the right circumstances is amazing. Amazing. Because I don't even think Huey knows it's toxic masculinity, right? And emasculation and just feeling like, or this thing about wanting to save Starlight. Starlight doesn't need you to save her. You're just there to be her boyfriend, bro. But he's been watching stuff and like Phil and Huey, they've been slapping him about a bit. He's been very useless. I tweeted once, and I'll find the tweet and show you where I was like, Huey surviving is the most unrealistic parts of The Boys. Huey should have died realistically, maybe like episode 2. So I understand him. I understand Butcher because Butcher is Butcher. But I also really enjoyed, because I can talk about The Boys forever, so please interject me when you feel like
I'm gonna just clear out and let you talk about it. You can say whatever you want to say.
No, stop it. I need to hear you say something back. I also really liked how they did the play of Maeve and Homelander having that. I loved you in my own way. I always hated you. And Soldier Boy with Crimson whatever. And him being like, I thought you were gonna... Okay.
I was just helping you. I wasn't
Yes, you actually were helping me. I'm sorry. You're actually just helping. Crimson Countess, thank you for helping. And how she was like, I hated you. And it just shows that men are mad. I don't know how else to put it more. They're like, both of them thinking, okay, these girls really loved me, but you were actually a terrible person. You were probably cheating on them. You were sexist. You were misogynist. You were actually a cruel person. But just because, I don't know, they smiled at you, they thought they loved you. And the fact that kind of upset both of them, but their reactions were still violence. They're doing so well. And it was nice to see Seth Rogen as well. Not in the days that we saw him, but it was also like it was nice to see him.
I really love Seth Rogen. I think I've watched every TV show he's done in the last few years. Obviously he produced this one, but I think the main supervillain mad scientist behind this is Eric Kripke, who I think created Supernatural, I think, amongst other shows. And I just loved seeing him in Seth Rogen in that scene, because just like, I'm sure they wrote that scene and were like, fuck, we can't cast someone for this. Like, we can't audition someone to just do this scene. I'm sure it was like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, obviously I'll do it. I loved seeing him in that. I've enjoyed The Boys so far. I mean, I think, like you said, I think The Boys is entertaining. It's always funny. It's always gory. It's always like so out there. I was thinking about this because what do you know about Herogasm?
I'll tell you what I know about Herogasm because I googled it yesterday.
Okay, then wait. Let's calm down. Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you're one of those spoilers people. You're so stressful, Faridah. You're so stressful.
I'm trying to be sorry.
Stress me out.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So maybe I'll retract that question before you come and tell me the entire plot line of the comic book.
I
Jesus.
actually was going to you, so I'm good to stop.
Thank God you told me you Googled it. Jesus Christ. Okay, so no, but I remember when they announced that they were going to adapt that storyline into an episode. It might have been after season 2 dropped or whatever. I Googled it.
Can I just say, sorry to
Yeah?
interrupt you. But they said that they've been thinking about Herogasm since like season 1, and they knew they were going to put it into season 3. So they're as excited as we are. It's been banned in 4 countries.
Yeah, I saw the video you retweeted.
Okay.
From Kripke. Yeah, no, so I Googled it, and don't even tell me if I'm right or wrong, because you are the spoilers. No, I think I Googled it back then, since like maybe 3 years ago, and I think it's, for anyone who doesn't know, I believe, okay, you can tell me if this is correct, but I believe it's kind of like an island where like superheroes just go and do their, like, all their sex stuff.
Yes.
So essentially, yeah. So once I read that line, I was like, I do not want to know anything else, because nothing I read here would match what the show eventually shows me.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like you said, in that video where Kripke was like, it's been banned in several countries, I think he was like, they had to edit out some stuff. So I can't even imagine how much more stuff there is there. So, but the reason I bring up Herogasm is because I think The Boys has first of all, it's firmly mastered its tone. It's told everyone what its tone is. But I think it's also like, it's clearly said that there is no line.
Yeah.
Right. I think from the first episode where Aquaman,
his name is The Deep,
forces yes, I so is that you correcting me?
Yes, I had to. Now we're 1-1.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, but I do know it's deep. Well, my point is going to be like, in the first episode, they have Aquaman force a new superhero to like go down on him.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's like, and then in that same episode, Superman shoots down a plane. Like, they were like, look, we do not have a line. Right. I think from that first episode, I think that's what they've established. Like, I mean, we'll have to see if Herogasm breaks everyone's mind. I don't know. But like, I think it's like, the show has established that we don't have a line, and so we're all going to continually keep on going farther and farther than you think we can. But we're also going to always ground it in this incredible pathos and emotionality from characters, and also speaking about the world, like you said.
Yeah.
And also being very smart about it. So I think that's also, they can go that far out and go that outlandish and do all this kind of weird and out there things, because in the end, they are smart about the things they need to be smart about, and they are emotional about the things they're emotional about, and they ground all their characters, no matter how outlandish they are, in reality. It's just, it's a great show that I enjoy every episode of.
Yeah. I hope they are working towards an ending. Like, you know how so my theory for TV shows is that when they know what the ending is, the show will be a lot better than if they're freestyling and then like they just get cancelled, so they have to like wrap it up. I hope there is like a very bittersweet ending to The Boys, because I know how the comics end, and I think that would be a perfect ending to The Boys. I'm not going to tell you because you're going to be like, oh, Fred, why you tell me?
Oh, that would be the last thing you say on this podcast if you had told me. Like, that would be the last thing you say on this podcast, like you'd have never come back on.
No.
I'm joking. I think with the fact that like the comics have ended, they're probably working towards that kind of ending. But again, I don't even know, like The Boys could be a show that ends in season 4, or they could do season 6. I don't know. Like it's probably so much material they can mine from. But I don't think it's a show that is moving blindly. But that being said, there are lots of shows that have moved blindly and still just found a way to
like the Trons.
make it work. I mean, it always depends on if you're cancelling on your own terms or not. I think, but if you have a general ending, I think you can't really write a show without having a general ending.
Oh,
but like, for example,
shocked. I watched Vampire Diaries. That should not have a general ending. I watched Gossip Girl. That show, they just freestyled us.
Well, okay. I wasn't considering those kind of shows. With all due respect.
Here they come, the TV connoisseurs, the HBO Maxes of people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I have another thing to say about Homelander. I have some criticism. I don't know where else they can take him because he's starting to get repetitive. I think they introduced him well. Stormfront, that was good. now it's just like, where do you take Homelander next? I just think they have to kill him. Sorry. I think he's done his thing. He's won. He's like still insecure. He's still a man-child. Yeah.
Why do you think he's getting repetitive?
Because there's nowhere, I don't know where else they can take him to now. I think he's just, the insecurity and anger is, we can't have that for like 2 more seasons. One of the theories, it's a theory, it's not anything confirmed, is like Soldier Boy like making him powerless. I think that is great to take him to. But if they just keep him powerful, or like they make Soldier Boy join him, I'm not as gagged.
Well, I would say this though. I mean, the hallmark of great writing is when they take a character into a direction that like you just thought. Like you just didn't see that coming. Like you didn't expect it, but like it works. Like do you watch Succession?
Who doesn't watch Succession? How do I know who I excuse me, Tom Jerry?
Oh yeah.
Not Tom Jerry, Roy Jerry. Shiv Roy?
No, so like for example, when I firmly believe that like, guess spoilers for Succession, anyone, if you haven't, just skip like 15 seconds, 20 seconds if you haven't watched Succession and you plan on watching it. But I firmly believe that like Kendall was going to die at episode 8 of season 3.
Kendall Joy.
No, but like in terms of what you said, in terms of like story, it made sense because it seemed like that character, like you said, had become repetitive and had got to a point where there was no more story for him, right? It was like, okay, it makes sense that like he's done it, he tried to fight his dad and he lost. He can't do it again next season, right? It made sense that the character ended there. But then what they do in the next episode, they turn it around by making all of them on the same side. So now it's all the kids versus their dad. And you're like, oh, I did not actually see this coming. So while I understand what you're saying in terms of Homelander, but I don't necessarily think it could end in him dying, like this season. But I don't think that's the only option. I think there's a chance where like there might be another character arc for the character that we don't see coming. Honestly, I thought about him getting powerless, but I think the moment he's powerless, Butcher is killing him. Like there is nothing that's stopping Butcher.
Butcher will enjoy him killing him.
There is nothing stopping Butcher from killing him the second he's powerless. So
I don't think Butcher will kill him. You know, Butcher is sadistic, he's wicked.
I think
he will just torture him for as long as he can in every kind of way. He'll be beating him up like breakfast. Sorry.
No, but, so I'm excited. I think my Deadpool will be on Frenchie. I still think Frenchie dies this season.
I hope Frenchie and Kimiko die. I'm tired of them as kids.
Jesus.
They're so boring.
Okay.
What?
You're so wicked. I can't believe you just said that. Who doesn't like Frenchie and Kimiko? What's wrong with you?
I like them, but it's time for
they're
them
like the one good love story on the show. The only good love story on the show.
No, beautiful love story. It's time for them to die.
Why is it time for them to die?
Because it's time, man. It's time. It's like Melisandre and that guy. Someone has to die. Kimiko losing her power, she's dead. I don't know why she's happy. As soon as she stopped healing, that's it for her. Especially now that Frenchie is back in trouble with Nina. They can't escape because they'll be found. They just have to die together, like Romeo and Juliet.
Spoilers for Romeo and Juliet.
Can you imagine?
Okay. Let's wrap it there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No. Go ahead.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You wanted to wrap it there.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what did you think of Maeve and Butcher sleeping together?
I mean, it wasn't Homelander and Stormfront, but it to do. It's fine. It's good enough. No, I'm joking. I mean, I kind of saw that happening the moment like they started drinking. I was like, oh, these guys are going to sleep together. And
I didn't. Wow.
Oh, I expected it to happen. The mood, the way it was shot, I was like, oh, this is going to happen. I didn't have any strong feelings towards it. Like it made sense from both characters from my point of view. Like they both connect on their hate of Homelander. They're both kind of almost at the bottom of like emotional depth, and then they're both relapsing for the first time at that point. So it's like,
okay.
Yeah, it made sense that like they would grab the first kind of carnal pleasure they could find.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, any other questions you want to throw at me before we wrap up?
No, that's it.
I want to give you a movie to watch ahead of next week's episode.
Okay, go on.
And then we can chat up. Maybe we can talk about it in the next episode. Have you heard of Good Luck to You, Leah Grant?
I've seen it. I actually want to watch it.
Yeah. So go watch it this weekend.
Why?
Starring Emma Thompson and Ross McCormack. Well, I won't talk about it. Maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes about the movie.
Oh, you just want to talk about it?
Just talk about it, yeah.
Okay. Why don't you want to talk about it with your boys?
Because we'd have an episode coming up.
Oh,
I'm talking to you next week.
that's fair. That's actually such a sharp. You did it.
I'm happy
10 over 10.
Thank you. But yeah, we can talk about that next week. If you, I just want to know your thoughts on it. We haven't seen it yet. I plan on seeing it this weekend.
Okay.
So, okay. Thank you very much for coming to this episode, Faridah.
As always, it's a pleasure.
And welcome back to the UK.
Aw.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode. As always, shout out to my guest, Faridah, who came to speak for all Muslim women, and I appreciate her for that. And also shout out to my co-host, Jibs, Ebuka, Chinedu. And to you guys for listening. Thank you very much. To everyone else who's supported this podcast, thank you. To Mo for giving Faridah a job on Streamer. Thank you.
I know. Mo. Danger.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously join us next week when Faridah and I will be talking about Miss Marvel. But of course, talk about all of that. We'll be joined by the incredible Arsenal fan, Daniel Kaluuya.
I mean.
Bye, guys.